Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome to Utter Lunacy, which is a podcast and YouTube channel where I often review African movies and TV shows. I occasionally divert to other things, but that's like the core thing that we do here. Today we'll be talking about Makosa Yangu, a Kenyan film that was written by Abel Mutua. Oh, why did I make it sound like that? A Kenyan film that was written by Abel Mutua. Okay, I hope that sounds more like a normal Kenyan. And produced by Philip Karanja. Yeah, Philip Karanja. I was going to say produced by Philip TV, but then, yeah. And co-directed by MK, who is Mkaiwawi, really cute name, and co-directed by Denise Kibisu. So, yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the film, a lot of themes that kept coming up. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, the production team. Let's start with the production team. One of the most interesting things for me about this production is how overwhelmingly male it is, particularly when it comes to the core team. Here I'm talking about the writer, producer, director, DOP, and so on. Out of what appears to be a core team of 7, only 2 are women. Mkaiwawi, aka MK, is one of the 2 directors, and Denise Kibisu is a producer. The 2 biggest names and the bosses of the production are Abel Mutua and Philip Karanja, with Abel Mutua being credited as the screenwriter. I think a good faith argument would be their hearts were in the right place. There's a lot of femicide currently making the news and being discussed in Kenya, so it makes sense to want to shed some light on the issue to try and show how terribly women are suffering and hopefully change minds. Now, I'm not nearly as optimistic, especially about the spreading awareness and changing minds thing. Life and living have sucked out whatever optimism I had in my bones, leaving it clean, archaeological remains level clean. I certainly don't believe a predominantly male team without a gender-based violence consultant or advisor stands a chance of telling the right story, much less one that can challenge the audience and make a positive difference. But that's a me problem. I suppose there's something to be said for the effort to shed light on the abuse women are subjected to by men, if nothing else. Alright, how we talk about abuse. This movie is primarily about abuse. It's about the many forms of abuse women in particular face in this society. For this reason, I'm interested in the way they tell the story, the ways they talk about abuse, the things they choose to focus on in the short time they have to not only inform but also entertain us. I've long been interested in the way we talk about abuse and have a few videos up on that I'll link to below. So let's talk about it. How do we talk about abuse? What do we focus on? What do we think matters? Where do we situate blame?
So in order not to traumatize the boy, we had our fights in private. And boy, were they vicious. One time he punched me so hard, he dislocated his shoulder. 15 years. 15 years of constant beating. And the boy never got to know anything about it because I kept my face intact.
Children and abuse. One thing that our main characters have in common is that they both grew up in households where their fathers were abusive to their mothers, physically abusive. In Nafisa's case, she hears her mother crying, screaming really, hears her father beating her. In Saint's case, we're told his mother worked to hide it from him, making sure she always looked well, not a single mark on her. The thing is, there's no hiding abuse from children. What they don't directly see, they hear. And even when they don't see or hear, they witness the effect, the impact, the aftermath. Even when you hide the wounds, you can't hide the tension. You can't fix the fear and intimidation in the atmosphere. This is the reality for millions of children globally. Globally, about 1 in 3 women will experience physical or sexual violence. 27%, almost a third of girls and women aged between 15 and 49 who have been in a relationship have been subjected to physical or sexual violence from a current or former intimate partner. That's according to the World Health Organization. That's millions of women. According to Landy Bancroft in When Dad Hurts Mom, nearly 3/4 of women who are chronically abused by their partners have children. One study about children's exposure found that 1 in 4 children were exposed to at least one form of family violence. 1 in 15 were exposed to intimate partner violence between their parents or the parent and their partner. 90% of those who were exposed to intimate partner violence saw the violence as opposed to just hearing it. 90%. Millions of children are witnessing violence with deleterious effects on their physical, psychological, and mental health. Some impacts of witnessing violence in the home include post-traumatic stress, depression, and anxiety. They may have difficulty forming and maintaining relationships, may end up being socially withdrawn, and finding it difficult to trust. They have a higher risk of substance abuse, eating disorders, and self-harm. They are more likely to struggle in school with impaired cognitive development, affecting memory, attention, and problem solving. Exposure also increases the risk of offending as an adult. Children do what they see, they learn from adults. The boys who witness domestic violence are more likely to become offenders in adulthood, although this isn't supposed to be taken as a causal relationship. Landy Bancroft says being abused as a child can be a contributing factor, but not the causal factor. This is in why does he do that? Men often hide behind claiming they were abused to avoid taking responsibility and in order to get people to feel sorry for them. If abuse had such a traumatic impact on you, then you'd be less likely to harm people in the same way, not more likely to do so. All this to say, the impacts on children are too significant to take lightly. Too many people imagine the true harm is in being abused, when exposure also has significant effects. These are just a few things to consider in a culture that continues to advise women to stay for their children, laboring under the misapprehension, thanks to patriarchy, that children need a father in the home, regardless of what kind of father he is. While women in abusive relationships believe they can hide it from children, protect them from it, they're wrong.
You must be starving, huh?
Apparently not. Mom, why would you add ho-hos inside the food?
You can skip that, huh? And pick from the rest of the food. I'm sure Nafisa here doesn't mind them.
Well, I love them.
Mom, but you know how I feel about them, so why would you add them?
I said, leave them. Leave them for the people who don't mind them. What's the deal?
Shut the fuck up.
Babe.
This is the kind of disrespect that Dad hated from you.
Saint.
Don't saint me, Mom.
Saint's mother thought she hid it well from him. She didn't, because there's no way to do it. He knew, Saint knew. Children see things, they sense and feel things. They don't need to literally see the violence to know something sinister is afoot, to know that something is happening. Something that fills them with fear and apprehension, whether they have the language for it or not. Just because he's not violent with the children does not mean he's not harming them. Also, if he's harming their mother, then he is not a good father, period. Learn from Saint's mother. You can try to hide it from them, but you will more than likely fail.
Makinika.
Wewe, nimbana
Kuna matako yako imepotea? Huyo ni mwanamke na naweza mshika vile nataka.
Unashikaga mmako hivyo?
Haya. Unadhani amini hawa watu wa bodaboda huku kulanga nyuma aba? Hata ukikaa mbaya takushika sawa?
Jaribu. Kirimini au masha. Umekuja kusumbua hapa.
Nafisa.
Jojo. Kila sana kuambiwa acha kuniita Saint.
Almost perfect victim. Let's talk about the character of Nafisa, particularly as a victim of gender-based violence. She's a morally upstanding, hardworking girl. She was working at a bar, supporting her disabled mother and siblings who were still in school. She's so moral, her friend Jojo calls her a saint. She stands up for the oppressed. When a drunk patriot at the bar she works at sexually assaults one of the waiters, Nafisa confronts him, and when he grabs her boobs, she hits him. She hits him so bad, she knows she's losing her job. She's the kind of woman, the kind of victim society likes, the one who stands up for herself, hits back, doesn't just cower and run. It fits well into a society that still asks, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you fight back?
Madam is so fucking pissed, you have no idea.
Mse alikuwa anataka kunifanyia vitu za kishetani.
Swahiba, that's where the life-changing money is. If you wanted to play it safe, ungeenda salon, ukashuka watoto wa shule milazo.
Fuck mazee. Najua unaisema kama jokes, but me, that's an option I'm willing to take.
Salon?
Nishachoma kama madam. Meaning, sina makao. Luxury ya kuchagua kazi natoa wapi?
Nafisa is a great victim. A near perfect victim. She goes into sex work to support her family too, not just in pursuit of the good life. She tells her friend she's ready to do whatever job, even plating school children. So she's not in the hoeing business for the love of the game, or a refusal to work hard, or in pursuit of an easy way to an Instagrammable life. Sure, the sex work angle can make her less of a perfect victim in the eyes of others, but she's almost as good as it gets. I've been wondering why they took the risk of making her less of a perfect victim by making her a hoe. I suspect it's because most of us have this intrinsic appreciation of the potential dangers of sex work. We all just believe it's risky and fraught with dangers for women. So the film attempts to put her in what it believes to be a dangerous environment where women are more likely to be abused. The thing is though, women are most likely to be abused in their homes by people known to them. Most of the violence women face is intimate partner violence perpetrated by a current or former partner. Globally, as many as 38% of all murders of women are committed by intimate partners. A woman is more likely to be killed by a current or former male partner than by any other person. There's a reason why home is considered the most dangerous place for a woman. In 2018, 87,000 women were killed by intimate partners and family members. That's about 6 women killed every hour. That's where the filmmakers potentially go wrong. They imagine making her a prostitute is what puts her in danger. A woman is in danger anytime she's in the presence of men, particularly those known to her. Making her a prostitute also risks arousing the "she was asking for it, what was she expecting, you can't rape a prostitute" crowd. It's risky, but I like it. It reminds us that women don't have to be perfect victims to have the right to live in a world free from all manner of abuse and control. She doesn't have to be a church girl to deserve, like all women, to live in a free society, to live a life free of abuse. I think making her a prostitute is also about suggesting that it's the kinds of men who use such services that are dangerous, distinguishing them from the other normal men who do not use such services. Normal men are able to watch it, detached, thinking, me, I'm not like that. Except there's no such thing as a safe man in a patriarchal society that subordinates women to men and socializes men to have aggressive, entitled attitudes where women are concerned. In #WeToo, Sex Work and Survival, which is a collection of essays by sex workers, a number of those women report experiencing physical and sexual violence from men outside of their work as sex workers. One says, quote, "I had experienced sexual harassment and abuse in nearly all the jobs I had done, sex work or otherwise, throughout my working life." It's not the sex work that puts Nafisa or women in danger. It's just men in a patriarchal society, and men who procure the services of prostitutes are not especially abusive. They're just men. There are no good men, and a woman does not need to be in the risky professions to be in danger of abuse. She just needs to be a woman in a patriarchal society, period. There's a reason why during #MeToo, there were offshoots about churches and mosques. Girls and women are being abused everywhere. Schools, offices, public transport, hospitals, churches, mosques. No place with men is safe. You see how this is a difficult thing for a predominantly male production team to reckon with. So they create a dangerous situation and a bad guy. Fellas, I hate to break it to you that all the guys are the bad guy. At least to women who as yet have no way of looking into your heart to see otherwise. And yes, I remember this is supposedly based on a true story. Still.
Na kutuma pombe unaenda udaku.
Niachilie.
Starehe yangu si important. Na sasa jushani haribia starehe yangu. Unapanga kunicompensate aje?
Niachilie. Pole na kuletea ingine.
Najua inatoka kwa mshahara yako.
Na kupunguzia.
Makinika.
Wewe, nimba naye.
Kuna matako yako imepotea? Huyo ni mwanamke na naweza mshika vile nataka.
Unashikaga mmako hivyo?
Haya. Unadhani amini hawa watu wa bodaboda huku kulanga nyuma ya ba? Hata ukikaa mbaya, takushika sawa.
Jaribu.
John Cena. Sasa ungekuwa unapiga kazi vile unapiga wanaume hapa. Si tungekuwa na branch majuu.
Akufunzwa na mamake, mimi nikabidi nimchape crash course kiasi.
Sana umani. School fees yao crash course. Ndio umerushiwa.
Azim.
Ujamaa amethreaten kutusu. Kabidi tumemtuliza na 30k.
What?
Na ebu guess, hiyo 30k inatoka kwa mfuko nani?
Huyo msee alikuwa na assault employee wenu.
Wewe, matako sio spankiwa inakuashia nini?
Carlos, hauko serious walai.
Hivi ndio tunadu sasa. Na kata in 3 installments. So instead of 15, unakula kobole next 3 months mpaka tujilipe.
Najua nini? Acha ikae, nimejitoa.
Wewe. Sasa, ndio si employee tena. So instead of kulala na njaa, ulale na mimi.
Jitishi.
If you become a good little girl, that's more where this came from.
No, sir, I'll pass. The money is not that important.
Whether you like the money or not, hii maji ya maandamano lazima kutakase.
Sir, I'm gonna get you another girl.
I think this is a fucking negotiation.
Please, sir.
Fucking bitch!
Abuse is everywhere. While the film predominantly focuses on the intimate partner violence of it all with Saint, there's so much violence in the story. The guy in the bar spanks that waiter, then grabs Nafisa's boobs. Nafisa's boss chooses to punish her and harass her instead of siding with her against an abuser. Then there's the man who tries to forcefully give her a golden shower.
Ufai kwa kazi wewe?
Mami, hiyo kazi haiwezi.
Na si uko engineer? Kama huwezi kufanya kazi ya basi, uvae wigi basi uwe wakili.
Lakini mama unaniambiaje vitu zingine kaa hizo?
Nafisa, wewe huna quality kabisa. Yaani kama kazi ya baa huwezi kufanya, kazi gani nyingine utakayofanya wewe? Hivi unavyoongea wenzako wamepata siku 2. Wao washamaliza school fees. Na mimi zile pesa niko nazo hapa haziwezi hata school fees ya mwezi mmoja. Na uko hapa watakuniambia watakuacha kazi. Wewe unaona kama unataka kwenda ni uende. Hilo halitanistajabisha hata kidogo. Ni wazi kwamba hiki tuko kwenye damu yenu. Hata unanichafua roho. Nimeisha hata sina morali ya kazi tena. Funga hili duka. Mimi nimeenda nyumbani. Wanahitaji shilingi 15,000. La sivyo pia atafukuzwa.
Masina 15,000 sahi, but wakinipatia time kidogo nitapata.
Lakini Nafisa, hii kazi unaofanya wewe kwani ulipwa na mizinga?
Wamefuta kazi leo, just so you know.
Yaani nafuu ningezaa kuni. Tukautana huyo daktari. I have seen dogs that are more useful kukuliko Nafisa. Yaani wewe hii kazi ya bike kushinda, kazi gani nyingine utafanya? Sikiza, hapo usipochangia, mimi silishi watu wazima, utatoka. Sawa? Puzi.
Nipe time kidogo, vitu zitakuwa poa.
Hizo pesa kidogo ni uchunge ndugu zako, mimi nimechoka.
Chukua.
Ongeza hizi mama.
Asante msichana wangu. Wacha nikubariki. Wewe angekuwa anatembea na watu kama wewe, mimi hata singekuwa na tashwishi. Lakini tukitegemea hizo akili zake, naona tutaisha.
Mama.
Hello, Mama.
Welcome, my children. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus.
Nafisa's mother is so abusive, it's bordering on comical. The way she demeans Nafisa is for the books. Plus, the way Nafisa seems unable to cut off contact with her is reminiscent of abusive relationships.
Mama? Nini mbaya?
No, ni saint.
Hebu rudi. Rudi kukague. Yaani saint ndio amekutengeneza hivi? Wadi ulimkulia bibi?
Nimechoka, naomba tukulala.
Sikiza dada, usimame hapo ungoje uletwe glucose. Urambi. Kisha ukishapata nguvu zako, utupigie story, urudi huko kwenu.
Kwetu kwani kwetu hapa ni wapi?
Hizi ni bangi. Hapa ni kwangu mimi. Kwenu ni kule kwenye zile nyumba zenu za mabati kule ulikolelewa.
Nafisa goes home to her mother after Saint beats her up, and her mother says, utalamba glucose, then urudi, which translates to, I'll give you a second to lick some glucose for energy, then you gotta go back. This babe is in two extremely abusive relationships. One with Saint, one with her mother. 3 abusive relationships if you count Ruto and his government. The socioeconomic conditions William Ruto creates and the hostile home environment force her to go back to Saint after she leaves. I love that they show her leaving because it reminds us that women try to leave. Most research has it that women in abusive relationships attempt to leave an average of 7 times before they finally leave. One study among female residents in a facility for intimate partner violence victims found that 66.3% of women, the majority, had returned at least once after separating from their abusers. Of that group that went back, 97.1% reported returning multiple times. Women return for many reasons, key among them financial dependence. One study found that 45.9% of participants returned due to lack of money. This remained true even for women with children who, while striving to protect their children, often feared not being able to support their children on their own. One woman who works with victims of domestic violence reports that for women with access to financial resources, it may only take 3 attempts to leave, while for those without it, it can take up to 30 attempts to leave. It's important to note that leaving is the most dangerous time for women, with 75% of the total domestic violence homicide occurring as the victims attempted to leave the relationship or after the relationship ended. Ending an abusive relationship, while it looks straightforward from the outside, is far more complicated. Leaving her mother or saint is the obvious choice. It's just not easy or uncomplicated. She goes back to both of them multiple times, and each time Nafisa goes back, the abuse escalates, which is in keeping with the existing research. Research shows that returning puts women at even greater risks of violence because the abuser may perceive it as disobedience that warrants punishment, i.e., increased violence. Let's show these women a little more grace as they navigate the many complications of leaving. It's also important to remember that just because a woman has left doesn't mean abuse has ended. Abusers often try to keep harming the woman even long after the relationship has ended.
Thank you. Here we are. I know, baby.
Unajua naje na ama big wig?
So, kuko na philosopher alisema, Jojo! Jojo in the building! Not the queen from the east mwenyewe. The baddest. Mwah, mwah.
Women just want money. Easy money. Men's money. Making Nafisa a hoe and surrounding her with women who look like they have money and want more of it complicates the story in ways I intermittently find interesting. Part of me worries that surrounding her with women like Jojo and the madam plays into this is happening to her because she wants to eat men's money, easy money worldview. After all, a significant chunk of the show is about money and the enviable lifestyle that comes with it. The other part of me likes that she is not a perfect victim, and the audience, particularly those who hold beliefs like women just want to eat men's money, is forced to contend with the fact that all women have a right to a life free of abuse, regardless of their personality traits or line of work or love of money. I especially worried that the film was leaning towards the afadhali kulia kwa Mercedes kuliko kwa nduthi thing, with that scene in the bathroom where she's crying after the first night that he beat her up. It's this idea that women would rather suffer in a mansion than live in poverty, even if the poorer life had more happiness. The scene where she goes back to raid the safe and take cash before leaving is by far one of the worst scenes when it comes to women just want easy money and the portrayal of victims of domestic violence. Her life is in mortal danger and she knows it, yet she goes back to steal money? I know the argument can be made that she'd earned that money. However, It seems so incongruent with everything I know about domestic violence and victims. When abused women are ready to leave, they leave. They often don't take nothing. They certainly don't take risks like going back for money or anything that will give the abuser an excuse to pursue them. This is a rich man. He has far more power than your average motherfucker. This is not the person to steal from. Second, I think it's poor writing. Nothing about the character of Nafisa suggests she'd do that. She is far from money hungry. Sure, she enjoys the joys that come with money. She was stoked about all that shopping and chopper riding. Who wouldn't be though? She, however, is not money hungry. Her mother, now that's a money hungry character. Nafisa is the girl who was earning 15,000 and supporting her family. She's the same person who said that she was ready to work in a salon plating school kids.
Leo mpaka tukaiviti, unasikia kuna nini mama. Swahiba, count pesa kwanza, hata ujue ni ngapi hizi pesa. In the meantime, acha nene nichukue wine. Leo lazima tulale vizuri. No, yeah. No. What? 56K? What? Walai. Swahiba, kuna kitu niambi wewe. Uko sure mkukulana uko ndani?
Sasa, masaintu wawili wakishikana, kukulana kwa toka wapi?
It's okay. I trust you.
Asante kwa kunitolea ngori.
Half.
50-50 mtu wangu.
Oh my gosh.
She didn't hide the money, much less count it after Saint gave it to her. Then she went ahead to give her friend Jojo half of the loot. I guess the argument can be made that she's changed from the beginning of the film and is no longer the same person. Notwithstanding, that's not how victims behave. When victims are that intimidated, that traumatized, all they want to do is go and make sure you don't follow them. They want to give you no reason to follow them. I know victims are not a monolith, but damn it, there's some similarities between people. I think with these stories, we, and especially men, like characters who look like they're fighting back, characters who look like they're not just sitting there and taking it. I think men imagine they'd steal the money, and so they write a character that would. I know it's based on a true story, but if there's something writers are guaranteed to do, it's take creative liberties. Liberties that are informed by the predominant cultural narratives in circulation. Victims are often not doing these sexy things like physically fighting back and stealing money. It makes for a less action-packed story, I guess, but no less brave, I think. Red flags. I don't know that it's possible to watch a movie like this one and not think about red flags. I'll talk about some red flags I saw, and then we can talk about the problem with our obsession with looking for red flags. Okay, red flags.
Nakupigana bila munda, vidole mbili weka pisa, hizo zingine weka inside. You know I pull up like a G, shorty ameweza, she's a free. Hakuna kitu ya free, naguza nina kani real. You know they love me for the life, nite Illuminati kumbe life. Wanasema ni bangi kumbe life, top team in the big proper life. I got big in the jack for the ride. 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
1. Rich men. As any long-term viewer will know, rich men are an immediate red flag to me. The power imbalance between men and women under the patriarchy is too steep to add in a second area of power imbalance. We already live in a society that adores and prioritizes men and worships rich people. All this while demeaning and devaluing women and poor people. Nafisa is both woman and poor. There is no universe in which it makes sense to me to get into a relationship with someone so socially elevated while you're so socially diminished. How are you supposed to have anything approaching an equitable, mutually respectful relationship? Plus, men have power in this society, and wealthy men even more power. If average men get away with harming women and ruining women's lives, how much more someone with even more power? No thanks. I'm a pass.
I want half your brains.
Well, I can't give you half my brain, but I can give you half my stack. Take. Go get yourself something nice.
I've not even touched you.
You'll touch me next time. Pick up.
Man! Baraka za Mungu kweli ni za ajabu. Baraka za Mungu kweli ni za ajabu. Zaweza kwenda mbele, zaweza kwenda nyuma, zaweza kwenda juu, zaweza kwenda chini. Upande kwa mataifa yote. Upande kwa mataifa. Baraka za Mungu.
2. Leads with money. It's bad enough that he's rich and she's poor. He's a man and she's a woman. But he goes the extra mile and leads with his wallet. He tries to impress her with his money that first day. He wins her mother over with money. Yeah, no, I'm gonna need you to lead with something other than your wallet. If you're manipulating other people with your money, e.g. my mother, you're also manipulating me with money or something else. No thanks. Get your personality, then we can talk.
Pin me your location. I'll send a driver. Hello?
Hi, yes.
I'm moving a bit too fast, aren't I? Listen, I totally understand if you're not up for it.
I'm game.
Great. I'll see you soon.
See you.
Well, whatever you do, just don't run these Nairobi streets with your lingerie on.
What? Now I'm even more intrigued, okay? Tell me more, please.
Akona how much?
I am so sorry. That was too soon, yeah? Yeah? I felt it as soon as yeah.
3. I'm moving a bit too fast, aren't I? Beware of men who talk in these understanding tones or in therapy speak. They go out of their way to sound like they understand you, understand your hesitation. They take the words right out of your mouth so that it sounds like they get it. They're playing you. He points out that he's moving too fast multiple times, which takes the wind out of her sails. You tell yourself, oh, he gets it. What a perceptive man. It's not perception, it's manipulation. He's running game on you. It's a play to get you to lower your guard. After all, he's already pointed out the thing that had you a little nervous, so there's no more reason to be concerned. Score for him, game over for you.
You see, the real reason that you defied my orders is because you don't respect me. There, I said it. You don't respect me, okay? But now I want you to say it.
Babe, I swear to God.
Say it.
I'm sorry.
Say it. Say it.
I'm sorry, baby, please.
Say it. Say it.
Baby, I'm sorry.
Say it. Say it.
Okay, I'm sorry I disrespected you.
4. Men who talk about respect and how men need it. Any man who demands respect from you, talking about how men just need respect and it's how they're wired, is a walking red flag. Everyone needs respect, even children. So you ain't telling us shit. There's nothing special about men that demands they be respected. Nothing. Any man who talks about being respected is a dangerous one.
The boyfriend likes to play target practice. What are we talking about, huh?
5. He makes light of abuse. Saint is banging a new girl. She sees Nafisa's face and asks about the bruises. Saint tells the girl that Nafisa is his employed help and that her boyfriend likes to, quote, play target practice. The way a man talks about abuse tells you everything about how he perceives women and the vulnerable, the powerless. Someone who makes light of it or jokes about it is a danger to you and others. Same goes for people who find a way to blame the woman.
Hello, Mama.
Welcome, my children. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus.
Her wicked mother likes him. Birds of a feather, hello.
Mom, but you know how I feel about them, so why would you add them?
I said, leave them. Leave them for the people who don't mind them. What's the deal?
Shut the fuck up.
Babe.
This is the kind of disrespect that Dad hated from you.
Saint.
Don't saint me, Mom. What is wrong with following fucking instructions that I gave you? No fucking ho-hos in the food.
Baby, overreact.
No, I'm not overreacting. She knows what she's doing. She's doing all this to spite me. Why?
Shall we eat?
Yeah, sure.
Saint.
Fuck you, Mom. Fuck you and your food. What is this? What is this? Huh? Nini? Nini?
He yells at his mother and destroys things when he's angry. Today he's destroying things, tomorrow it's you. And finally,
Ma'am, excuse me.
Hi, baby.
Hello.
I need to fix your tie.
Yeah. I'm actually going hunting and gathering today. Will you be a good girl for Daddy?
ew, 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 ugh, oh, ew, ew, ugh, ugh, ugh. Then there's all the usual red flags: controlling, moving too fast, etc. What I'm itching to talk about is the limits of our obsession with identifying the red flags and following the many dating rules on the interwebs, books, and magazines. This man likely knew from the second he laid eyes on her that he was going to abuse her. He may have hoped she'd obey and respect him, not like the other girls, but still, he knew that if she failed, he'd abuse her. Red flags totally play their part in helping girls and women stay a little safer. However, they fail in two key ways. One, they put the onus of their safety on women and girls and not on men to stop abusing. Second, they are limited. If you meet someone like Saint who has decided they want you and will do whatever it takes to get you, someone willing to act and manipulate you, you're in trouble. So much when it comes to abusers is a matter of luck. You just get lucky. The nun has targeted you. If one sets their sights on you and they're a good actor and manipulator, you're in a world of trouble. Looking for red flags helps us feel safer, restores some level of control to many women and girls who already feel so powerless against all the danger lurking about. This delusion is necessary for women to keep living in this world without losing their minds. Yet, it's also a hindrance to change. If we just faced the fact that there's nothing we can do to guarantee 100% protection from men's violence, we'd rage out and force change. Red flags in women. I have one big red flag when it comes to women, and Nafisa appears to have it. She does not have a healthy or unhealthy, depending on your perspective, fear of men. Just zero fear of men. What? It's like having zero hate for Ruto. Red flag. You cannot possibly be living in this same world where millions of women and girls have stories about being harassed by men or suffering some form of abuse or violence. Women are killed every day. Because they said no, or because they are believed to have eaten a man's money, or because of cooking. Women are killed dead every single day. Children and women are abused daily, everywhere, in schools, hospitals, public transport, at home, by a plethora of male relatives, including their fathers, everywhere. Pairing with a man increases your chances of homicide. How do you just go about trusting men and not moving like they are women's primary predator? Red flag. Major red flag if you don't have some kind of healthy or unhealthy fear of men. That's the biggest red flag in a woman.
Said, please, just let me go. Just let me go, please. Just.
You want to go?
I want to go, please. Just to go.
Let's go home.
Just want to go.
Hello my son. Hujambo?
Hello, Mama.
Natumai uko sawa?
Unfortunately, haiko sawa.
Nini mbaya?
Msichana wako, mama. Msichana wako hapa ananikula kichwa.
Nataka kumrekebisha lakini ananiambia nitakurudi nyumbani. Sasa nimeona chani kupigia simu ni kuage. Kwa heri.
Baba hapana. Ukurekebisha bwana ni umrekebishe. Kwani unamrekebisha kwa panga?
Mama. Ni viboko tu. Hata si ngumi.
Kiboko bwana hajai wa mtu, Mbona usimsikize huyo gaidi?
All those extremes. There's a million things that scream that this was written and produced by a predominantly male crew. All those extremes. Everything screams. Nothing is subtle. Everything is a huge scream. The first time he loses his temper, he loses it spectacularly. The first time he hits her, he gives her a proper beating. Saint is filthy rich and has a soundproof dungeon-like room where he tortures women. Saint has a right-hand man who rides a sexy bike and pays police off with bundles of cash. Nafisa wakes up to Saint wielding a knife in bed. The woman trying to warn Nafisa is all dramatic, using paint on the side of her car. Nafisa cracks the safe and runs off with money and gold. Nafisa's mother is a near-comical villain with her put-downs and pimping her sister out. Extremes. Big, bigger, biggest. Men must always do things bigly. Meanwhile, life is rarely that. Life is mostly just small, everyday abuse and violence that is aided and abetted by our sexist systems and policies. The problem with the extremes this movie picks is they make it possible for people to watch, and here I'm talking about men, they make it possible for men to watch the film without seeing themselves, without feeling any discomfort, much less conviction. The film frames Saint as this extremely villainous character who the average man cannot see himself in. If Saint had been written as an ordinary man, some guy who works at the bank in middle management, nothing fancy, the impact on men would be different. An ordinary man, but he holds the same values as Saint. He's the head of the home, he deserves respect, there's an order to things, and in that order, she does the housework and he brings home the money, makes the decisions. Saint believes women need to be controlled or they'll get out of hand. This is not unusual. Even the Bible frames women as prone to wickedness. That's why it was she who the devil approached and deceived. So be wary. I do not permit a woman to speak or have authority over men. Women have always been believed to have this innate wickedness that needs to be controlled.
What's the deal?
Shut the fuck up.
Babe.
This is the kind of disrespect that Dad hated from you.
Saint.
Don't saint me, Mom. You see, the real reason that you defied my orders is because you don't respect me. There. I said it. You don't respect me. Okay? But now I want you to say it.
Babe, I swear to God.
Say it.
I'm sorry.
Say it. Say it.
I'm sorry, baby, please.
Say it. Say it.
Baby, I'm sorry.
Say it. Say it.
Okay, I'm sorry I disrespected you.
Men are in charge and they deserve respect and are the final authority, and women are subordinate to them, and it's also women's duty to do things like housework. These are completely commonplace thoughts among men. Everywhere. All they needed to do was make Saint an ordinary motherfucker. The kind of guy who doesn't have a dungeon, but certainly keeps his wife in line with threats and other forms of intimidation. He doesn't terrorize you in a dungeon, but occasionally slaps you when you get out of line. This is ordinary men everywhere. This is how we get to 1 in 3 women experiencing physical and sexual abuse at the hands of men. Making him so extremely wicked plays into the abusive men are monsters thing, when abusers are just ordinary men. It's just the city council guy sweeping the streets, the chef who makes your food at that high-end restaurant, the tout who forgets your change, your child's teacher, your doctor, that homeless man, that insanely hot influencer, the CEO of that startup who inspires you, your smocha guy, your bishop, all your pastors actually, that uncle who everyone likes, and also that other one who everyone keeps their kids away from, that politician who you hate, and also the one you love sycophantically. All kinds of men, rich, poor, ugly, hot as fuck, charming, hated, all of them. Making him that excessively bad makes all these other men think, at least I'm not like that, when they're exactly like that.
We need extra saint. And then there's me. And then there's you.
Jeez. We fucking sisters. Kwani tunafanana hivi?
Well, we were part of one big audition.
Notice anything?
Oh shit. Yep. Any mtu alitugonganisha within an inch of our lives just because we look like his mom.
Fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
The girls fall into the whole abusers are monsters thing in the end when Nafisa calls him a sociopath. At the risk of flogging a dead horse, Saint is not a sociopath. Abusers are not sociopaths. They're just ordinary motherfuckers. The most ordinary men that our society produces. They're so ordinary, they're basic.
Guess what, Cheaty? You're basic. You're basic.
Oh, spare me this sanctimonious lecture. You never cared about me. In the words of one of my actual friends, you're basic. It's a human insult. It's devastating. You're devastated right now.
If we're honest with ourselves, we know that it's non-abusers who are strange. Abusers are hella normal.
Nini mbaya?
Msichana wako ma. Msichana wako hapa ananikula kichwa.
Nataka kumrekebisha lakini ananiambia nitakurudi nyumbani. Sasa nimeona chani kupigia simu ni kuage. Kwa heri.
Baba hapana. Ukurekebisha bwana ni umrekebishe. Kwani unamrekebisha kwa panga?
Mom. Ni viboko tu. Hata si ngumi.
Kiboko bwana hajai wa mtu, Mbona usimsikize wewe gaidi? Mama? Ni nini mbaya?
Ni Saint.
Hebu rudi kukague. Yaani Saint ndo amekutengeneza hivi? Wadi ulimkulia bibi?
Nimechoka, naomba tukulala.
Sikiza dada, usimame hapo ungoje uletwe glucose. Urambi. Kisha ukishapata nguvu zako, utupigie story urudi huko kwenu.
Kwetu kwani kwetu hapa ni wapi?
Hizi ni bangi. Hapa ni kwangu mimi. Kwenu ni kule kwenye zile nyumba zenu za mabati kule ulikolelewa. Harakisha. Harakisha tafadhali. Madam, subiri tu hapo. Relax.
Mama, mambo gani haya?
Sikiza hapa Nafisa. Mimi hamtanyonjesha soft life kisha mtoe nyama kwenye mdomo. Not possible. Whatever ulichomfanyia yule mwanamume kule, ni uende umpige magoti na umrambe miguu. Wallahi Nafisa, ukinitoa kwenye haya maisha, kisa na maana ni ujuaji wako huu, the last thing nitafanya nitakulaani. Tena hiyo si threat, ni promise. Haya choma. Sasa angekuua ufe.
The openness with which Nafisa's mother tells Saint to discipline Nafisa is excessive. The ways she refuses to offer Nafisa refuge and sanctuary after she's been bitten are so extreme. I guess they were trying to show Nafisa was in an abusive relationship with her too, but in making it so extreme, all the people who offer support to abusers fail to see themselves on screen. You know, the pastor who tells you God hates divorce, the mom who comforts you, then says you need to go back because marriage is hard. Everyone's marriage has challenges, and this is just one of the challenges. The friend who tells you to find ways to talk to him that don't set him off, reminds you that unakuanga na temper and you need to talk to that man in a way that doesn't emasculate him. All these people support the abuser. They're just not as extreme in it as Nafisa's mother. And in making Nafisa's mother so wicked, you miss the opportunity to force all these ordinary people to see the role they play in aiding and abetting an abuser. You deny everyone the opportunity to see how deeply embedded in society the logic of abusers is, how it's deep in all of us, and we need to unlearn it. What hope do we have of addressing this problem if abusers and their supporters are not forced to confront what they've done and are doing? If the goal is to talk about abuse and violence in a way that brings change, then everyone must be forced to face the role they play and the degree to which they have believed abusive logic. All those extremes did was make it a those people problem, not our problem. And in so doing, it undermined everything else the film was trying to do, everything else the film was trying to say. Those two choices, more than anything else, undercut the film's ability to make any kind of difference, much less challenge people to do something like change their minds. I suppose the argument can be made, again, that this was based on a true story, and that's why everything is as it is. That may be so. Still, they took some creative liberties in the end. They could have done that here as well. In any case, maybe we just need more stories, more movies, instead of requiring one film to do it all. Maybe. That being said, I wondered if they made Nafisa's mother so villainous so that men can feel less attacked. Hear me out. These types of stories risk alienating men and making them feel attacked, as they should feel. And so filmmakers, in this case male filmmakers, for themselves and for their audience, find ways to soften the blow, soften the criticism of men. If Nafisa's mother wasn't so wicked, all we'd have is men abusing women all over, from the bar to the massage parlor to Saint. This apparently would have been too much for men to face. And so, we introduce an abusive woman so that men can feel like, see, even women can be abusive. This is not about calling out men, even though abuse is largely perpetrated by men against children, women, and other men. Abuse is largely men's thing, but they can't handle facing that, so we kid gloves them by making Nafisa's mother a balancing villain. Problem solved. Well, only solved if the problem is how to protect men's fragile feelings, not if the problem is dealing with men's violence against women. Debunking myths about abuse. So many myths about abuse abound. This film touches on 3 common ones. 1, he was abused as a child. 2, he abuses those he loves the most. And 3, he abuses alcohol or drugs.
So in order not to traumatize the boy, we had our fights in private. And boy, were they vicious. One time he punched me so hard, he dislocated his shoulder. 15 years. 15 years of constant beating. And the boy never got to know anything about it because I kept my face intact.
1, he was abused as a child. In Saint's case, we can call this he was exposed to abuse as a child. He may not have seen it, but he knew it was going down. And we know this has a negative impact on children's physical, mental, and psychological health. It is a key cause of childhood trauma. The thing is, there's no causal link between childhood abuse and becoming an abuser. It doesn't help and can be an influencing factor, but it's not the reason you're an abuser. The same goes for those who are exposed to abuse as children. Men use this, "Oh, I was abused as a child," to get pity from women and other people, make them feel sorry for him. Bancroft talks about asking abusers if they know how much it hurts as victims themselves, why would they do it to others? Shouldn't they be less likely to abuse others? He says they often stop using it as an excuse once he poses that question because it was only ever an excuse, a cop-out.
My baby, I'm sorry it had to come to this. My deep love for you turns me into a monster anytime you cross me. Please, 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 please call me when you wake up.
2. He abuses those he loves the most. Another common myth about abusers is they abuse those they love the most because their feelings for them are so strong, they run so deep. While it's true that those who love you the most can cause you the deepest hurt, that has nothing to do with an abusive pattern of behavior. First, most people reserve their best behavior for those they love the most. Second, abusers have other relationships with people they love, like family members. Do they abuse them too? No, abuse is not about strong feelings for someone.
Babe.
Thought about what I did, and I made a mistake, and I won't do it again.
Okay.
What's that scent?
Are you done with your speech?
Why do you have lipstick on your junk? Why the fuck do you have lipstick on your junk, Saint?
What do you think?
One mistake, you treat me like this.
You hit me! If you want me to act savage, then... But you... Did you just hit me? Did you just hit me? Did you just hit me?
3. He abuses alcohol or drugs. Saint comes home drunk. Nafisa confronts him for cheating, she slaps him, and in response, Saint beats her to within an inch of her life. I love how the film shows that the abusive behavior started way before he came home drunk, way before he hit her. The fact that he hits her later on, when there's no reason to assume he's drunk, further confirms that the first time he hit her had nothing to do with being under the influence. I like that. I especially love that she slapped him first, that first time. I love it because people often conflate any hitting with abuse, and also because men often boast about how they'd never let a woman get away with hitting them. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard men in real life talk about how if a woman hit them, they'd show her hitting. I feel like this is one of the few instances that ordinary men can see themselves in Saint. Would you let a woman get away with hitting you, or would you also show her? She slapped him, and it didn't look like he had anything but his pride, and the way he responded, he left her black and blue. I bet an ordinary guy would go, oh, he'd show her, he just wouldn't go that far. Saint went too far, but she started it, right? She started it. Men always find a way out. Nafisa slapping Saint is not abuse. Abuse is about a pattern of behavior, not a single instance of something. We've all yelled at someone in anger, and it wasn't abuse. But when a man who controls what you wear, where you go, how much money you have, yells at you, that's part of a pattern of abuse. Abuse isn't just about the action. It's about the power imbalance and control. It's about the mindset. Who has the power? It's about fear. Who's afraid of the other? Who's intimidated and who's doing the intimidating? Whose word is law and who has to fall in line with the decisions of the other? Abuse is about all this, not just a single instance of something. So Nafisa slapping Saint was not abusive, but him beating her so badly she ran away, that was abuse. It's abuse because he has all the power and control in the relationship. He calls the shots and she's subordinate to him. It's also abuse because he hurt her, wounded her, and she didn't hurt anything but his overblown pride.
No disturbance, leo ni lazima nile nyama, kisha nimalizie na shada. Nimeshajinyimanga sana, safe sana, for Susana. You know forever I got my mama. Sitaki madeni ya madrama, natuma za mama na pesa za chama. Akiana ni maisha ya city, tunaishingi 50-50. Tutakaribishwa na mwizi ama wajanja na mafisi. Wasichana wa pretty, wananipa mwenye kiti. Wanaonanga niko fiti, hawezi nieka chini. Viva la vida, la vida, la vida. Alhamdulillah nimeiva, nimepiga luku nimeshiba. Dua langu leo limefika. Amina, amina. Alhamdulillah nimeiva, nimekula fiti nimeshiba. Dua langu leo limefika. Amina, amina. Amina, amina. Kamshandeka koset, nishalipa na rent. Leo nimeshinda bet, sasa wapi weekend. Kamfupa kakowet, kanataka nikapet. Nikavalishe pete, kisha pewe mashete. Va nekwangwete. Unawasha moto, sasa wacha nipepete. Nibebeshe, nichezeshe. Maisha raha, washa kitu vitu chekeshe. Akiana ni maisha ya city, tunaishingi 50-50. Takaribishwa na mwizi ama wajanja na mafisi. Wakubwa wa maofisi wanalita mwenye kiti. Wanaonanga niko fiti, hawezi nieka chini. Viva la vida, la vida, la vida. Alhamdulillah nimeiva, nimekula fiti nimeshiba. Dua langu leo limefika. Amina, amina. Alhamdulillah nimeiva, nimepiga luku nimeshiba. Dua langu leo limefika.
Can't believe it's been a whole 3 weeks.
What? It feels like 2 days.
Victim blaming and women who deserve abuse. We're introduced to Nafisa, the good girl, the saint, the perfect victim. The kind of person we're primed to feel sorry for when terrible things happen to her. If anything happens to her, our first instinct is not supposed to be blaming her. It's supposed to be feeling bad for her. Let's talk about victim blaming. Victim blaming is the transference of blame from the perpetrator of a crime to the victim. It refers to the tendency to hold victims of negative events responsible for those outcomes. It was coined by William Ryan, an African American, in 1971 after the Moynihan Report of 1965 attributed black people's poverty to black family life, that is, single mothers and absent fathers. Ryan pointed out that blaming black people for poverty and low levels of education, all of which were products of racial oppression, was tantamount to blaming the victim. Victim blaming is therefore not unique to sexual violence or women, but it's more common in these instances than in other crimes. Let's talk about the ways we blame women when they are victimized by men, as shown by this film. Victim blaming can be split into 3 broad categories: behavioral, characterological, and situational. Behavioral is based on something the woman did, e.g. went out drinking while scandalously dressed. Characterological is about something about the woman, e.g. she's naive, promiscuous, and takes risks or has a temper. Situational blames the environment or place or other inanimate thing, e.g. the park is dangerous at that time, or those kinds of jobs are dangerous. I must admit, after that shopping sequence, when we cut to them in bed and Nafisa says, can't believe it's been a whole 3 weeks, I was like, girl, what? What is wrong with you? What are you doing? There's this implicit criticism of her and the choices she's making. She's moving too fast. She's not taking precautions. She's being careless. At this point, she's asking for it. She's too naive, too trusting. All this sounds like logical criticism, but it's all victim blaming because it situates the responsibility for what happened with someone other than the perpetrator. It doesn't matter how naive she was. If Saint didn't choose to abuse her, she would not have been a victim of abuse. He chose to abuse her. He made her a victim. It doesn't matter how risky prostitution is. If an abuser doesn't choose to abuse you, you will not be abused.
Yani, nafuu ningeza kuni. Tukautana huyo daktari. I have seen dogs that are more useful kukuliko Nafisa. Yani wewe hii kazi ya bike kushinda, kazi gani nyingine utafanya? Sikiza, hapo usipochangia, mimi silishi watu wazima, utatoka. Sawa? Puzi.
Maana dadili kwa kupiga kila siku.
Wasemaje?
Victim blaming also suggests that there are women who deserve what they have coming. Bad women. Nafisa says to her mother, quote, ndio maana dadi alikuwa anakupiga kila siku. End quote. That means, that's why my father used to beat you every day. Bancroft says something I love about this. He says of one of the men in his abuser program, quote, he was failing to accept the reality that a woman does not have to be all good in order to have the right to live a life free of abuse. End quote. Nafisa's father was not abusing her mother because she is a bad woman, which she is. He was abusing her because he is an abuser. If he was such a good man, he would have taken his children and left her. He was a rich man. He could have did that, but he didn't do that. He chose instead to terrorize Nafisa's mother and by extension, his children. He was an abuser and as wicked, if not more wicked, than his wife. The fact that towards the end, Nafisa cuts her mother out of the family picture but leaves her father is evidence of the way we live in a society that's constantly sympathizing with men. Sympathy is real. Men get endless chances. There's nothing they will not be forgiven for. How is it possible that Nafisa thinks her father was a positive influence in their family or in her life? I was going to say this is some ending only a man would write, then I remembered. Women are also socialized in this patriarchal society and they internalize those beliefs just as much as men.
Baby. Come give me a kiss.
Hey.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm help me.
Until I say stop.
Naweza kushikia wewe umfanye chenye unataka kumpiga chiki.
And you and I have no more business together. Nataka kesho asubuhi na familia yako mtoke kwa SQ yangu, sawa? Umesikia?
Hamilton, please. Hamilton, please. Hamilton, please look at me. Hamilton. Please. Hamilton, please.
Hamilton! Hamilton!
Huyo sasa ashafika ushago. Kitale. It's just you and me, baby.
In more empathy news, can we talk about Hamilton for a second? Hamilton is one of those men who does not view himself as an abuser because he doesn't do the whipping. He just grabs the girls when they run and brings them back and terrorizes them, but he doesn't hit them. At least until that time, Saint forced him. By all measures, it seems like he and Saint had done that many times before to other girls, and he still didn't think of himself as an abuser until he actually hit Nafisa. What's interesting to me is that even Nafisa appears not to think of Hamilton as an abuser. She lets him go and doesn't even appear bitter when she tells Saint that Hamilton is long gone. I guess the argument can be made that he let her go, but still, he was the one who brought her back. He brought her back and she just forgave him like it was nothing. This man who was abusing her in cahoots with her boyfriend and was so in sync with Saint in a way that said they'd done this to many girls before, she just let him go. Didn't think nothing of it. I guess that's the power of empathy, baby.
This is the kind of disrespect that Dad hated from you.
Saint.
Don't Saint me, Mom.
Saint also shares some sentiments about how his mother deserved whatever she got from rousing his father's anger. It doesn't matter what she was like with his father. Saint's mother did not deserve to be abused. If she was so terrible, he should have left her. He was rich. Rich men get whatever they want. He could have taken everything, including the children.
Why does he hate you so much?
You think I'm the reason he treats women like crap?
Later on, Nafisa goes to Saint's mother, assuming there's a connection between her and his abuse of women. First of all, what? What? What the hell was this angle? I know it's based on a true story, but damn! No, just no. Anyway, Nafisa asks his mother why Saint hates her so much, as if it's somehow truly his mother's fault. Saint was not abusing women because he hates his mother for killing his father, his hero. Saint was abusing women because men abuse women. That's it. Maybe his methodology is influenced by what happened with his parents, what with the scarf thing, and them looking similar. But the abuse itself is because he lives in a society that permits men to abuse women, period. There's no mystery to decode. Men abuse women, so Saint did it. And millions of men out there are doing it now. And many more boys becoming men will do it too.
Why does he hate you so much?
You think I'm the reason he treats women like crap?
I didn't say that.
You're accurate, actually.
Nonsense. That scene where Nafisa goes to get answers from Saint's mother was the second worst scene in the film, beating only the closing rape scene. We start with making it about Saint's mother. Then Saint's mother turns around and lays the responsibility of stopping the abuse on Nafisa.
I witnessed all that in our household. The beating stopped because my dad died in a car accident.
Oh, darling. That circle must end with you. Do not allow anyone to have such power over you, regardless of who they are.
She tells Nafisa something about this. The circle must end with you. Do not allow anyone to have that power over you. Allow? What's the point of all this talking to men, etc., when the problem is that women are allowing it? Any criticism that doesn't focus on the perpetrator is victim blaming. It's not women who must change. It is abusers who must stop abusing. I hated that scene so much, my notes for it are in caps. Listen, we can talk about women and whatever people imagine their role, their contribution to be, but only after we've finished talking about men and fixing whatever the fuck is going on with them. Until then, keep women's name out your mouth.
Well, at least now you know. Ningekuwa wewe ningekimbia mbali sana. this man will hunt you down and not even the cops will be able to help you.
Well, fuck that. You know why this man keeps hurting women? Because we keep running, we keep hiding, instead of fighting back.
This blaming of women for an abuser's actions continues when the girls meet to act out their basic, very basic, extremely basic Ocean's 11 plotline. It's not victims' fault that abusers keep abusing. They keep abusing because they choose to keep abusing. They keep abusing and getting away with it because our systems allow it. Making it sound like it's on victims to stop abusers is victim blaming. It's certainly kicking victims while they're down in a society in which victims suffer more for speaking out than they do if they just go off and try to rebuild their lives. None of our systems exist to support or protect victims, and it's worse when the perpetrator is a rich man. There's a reason their fighting back is Hollywood-esque, because it's pure nonsense. People who do the type of work that Jeremy Wade does are doing more to help victims and stop abusers than what these girls choose to do. The true solutions to the societal problems we face are not sexy. They're boring, repetitive, exhausting. Things like constantly fundraising online and rescuing women who go back a few times before they finally leave. Boring things like following up on numerous lengthy court cases and feeding children every afternoon and offering classes for abused women to learn skills that enable them to be financially independent. It's all these abused women going on podcasts to share their painful stories with us and other women, reminding them that they can do it, they can get out too, exposing their pain and shame, hoping to reach just one person. This is how we help women to live. It's how we fight against the abuse of women and children. These sexy solutions are for movies, not real life. And for a film that purports to want to have real-world impact, that's exactly what not to do. Sexy solutions lay the onus on victims, blaming them, while real-world solutions invite us all to join the struggle to end this kind of abuse in our communities.
You and I are joined at the hip. Your ass is mine for as long as you use food on me. Okay.
Sounds familiar?
Nafisa! Out! Nafisa!
Now smile and take it as a man.
Just wait.
Perform for the camera, kababa. Na tukimaliza uende direct kwa polisi. Kwa sababu leo ni either mimi ama ichuma ndio tutalala ndani.
Nafisa. 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 Sandra, fucking listen to me. I'll pay you however fucking much you want. Kiss me.
Sandra, just have fun, guys.
Nafisa, don't leave. Nafisa, ustoke hapa Nafisa. Wait. Sandra, anakupea macho Mungu mwanzo na kuongezea yote. Nafisa, fucking ajiwe fucking money that you fucking want. Nafisa, wait. Nafisa.
Mr. Santaya treats, Mr. Santaya lies, Mr. Santaya eat your food and leave your plate dry, Mr. Santaya.
Still on people who deserve to be abused, this film made the bold decision to have the abuser raped using a bat. This is the worst thing they could have done, and certainly the worst scene in the entire film. Movies have made it a running joke. The use of rape as a punishment for men. Police in procedurals threaten suspects with the threat of prison rape if they don't cooperate. For criminals who commit especially heinous crimes, the threat of being raped is whispered to them as they are pop-walked into a cell, and the audience is supposed to be happy with that resolution. Terrible criminals deserve it, right? Wrong. In the same way the death penalty is being repealed in many places for many reasons, including no one has the right to take another's life, no one has the right to rape another. And what do we hope to accomplish with that, other than mild catharsis for viewers? The death penalty, which is as extreme as it gets, does not work as a deterrent and does nothing to address the harm that was done. Raping rapists will not be a deterrent, and it does nothing to redress the harm caused to victims. Even worse, it suggests that there are instances and situations where rape is an acceptable response. There is no instance where rape is the acceptable move. None. None. The High Commissioner on Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, weighed in. Heads up, this will be a bit of a lengthy quote because I like all of it. Quote, "The main argument being made for the death penalty is for it to deter rape. But in fact, there is no evidence that the death penalty deters crime more than other forms of punishment. Evidence shows the certainty of punishment rather than its severity deters crime. In most countries around the world, the key problem is that victims of sexual violence do not have access to justice in the first place, whether due to stigma, fear of reprisals, entrenched gender stereotypes and power imbalances, lack of police and judicial training, laws that condone or excuse certain types of sexual violence, or the lack of protection for victims." End quote. She added, quote, "The death penalty or penalties like surgical castration and bilateral salpingectomy will not resolve any of the above and myriad other barriers to accessing justice, nor will it serve a preventive role." End quote. You heard it from the High Commissioner on Human Rights. It's not the severity of the punishment that functions as a deterrent, but rather the certainty of punishment. The true problem when it comes to the pursuit of justice and the safety of women is the absence of structural support systems for victims. Rape is never the answer. Ever. Ever, ever. Ever. Good.
Asante kwa kunitolea ngori.
Half. 50-50 mtu wangu. Oh my gosh.
If I didn't know you any better, ningesema kuna vile unanitaka unataka kunikula.
Mambo ya LGHDTV dini yetu haikubali.
Phobias and isms, fatphobia, homophobia, and colourism. After Saint gives Nafisa money that first time at the massage house, Nafisa gives her friend Jojo half of the stack. Jojo responds by asking if Nafisa is trying to make a move on her, if she wants to have sex. Nafisa laughs and says, quote, "Mambo ya LGHDCV, dini yetu haikubali." End quote. This is a white person's equivalent of saying, "I don't care about or see color. I love everyone. Orange, green, purple, or blue. I love everyone." End quote. You know the colors, Karen? You're just being a racist asshole. Nafisa and the writers know the letters. They're just being homophobic assholes and hiding behind religion and jokes. Oh, it's just a joke. It's not that deep. It is that deep. We're in a deeply homophobic country, and your joke is one that denounces an already vulnerable group. She could have laughed it off and said she likes dick. Why did they have to bring religion-backed homophobia into it? Why bring queer people into it? And all this while hiding behind jokes. Comedy that punches down at already vulnerable, stigmatized people is dangerous. None of it is funny, Abel. It's not funny. Do better.
Well, personally, I just have one contact. Sandra? Amazing. Sandra?
See, Nafisa. Nafisa, listen, Nafisa.
Now smile and take it as a man.
Just perform for the camera, kababa. Na tukimaliza, uende direct kwa polisi. Kwa sababu leo ni either mimi ama ichuma ndio tutalala ndani.
Apart from the fact that rape was being used here as some kind of punishment, it pissed me the fuck off that they used a fat black woman to deliver it. What? What in the actual colorist fatphobic fuck is this? She's like the second plus-size woman we see, if we count the madam as the first. Unlike the madam, this one is dark-skinned, as in dark, and not conventionally attractive. They've actually worked to make her unattractive, even giving her some kind of elastoplast, aka band-aid over her nose. What is this? Why? Why not one of those light-skinned girlies from the whole house? What? Y'all was afraid Saint would like the rape too much, had to make it a fat black one to eliminate that possibility, right? Fuck all of y'all. Really?
Sandra, fucking listen to me. I'll pay you however fucking much you want. Kiss me.
Sandra, just have fun, guys.
That line, Sandra, have fun, guys. Have fun doing what, Sandra? So rape is now supposed to be fun? Stop it. Y'all need to read the research and not just pull punishment ideas out of your ass. It's especially insidious because, as far as we know, this rapist woman was not harmed by Saint. She is raping him to settle a legitimate problem he has with Nafisa. I don't care how hot she is. Nafisa is the one who has legitimate beef with Saint. If she wants him punished through rape, she can do it herself. Pushing off that repulsive job to a fat black woman is itself repulsive and unacceptable. Secondly, where the fuck did they get a rapist? Where do you get one? Are y'all just friends with fat black women who are willing to do that in the name of vigilante justice? My God.
Yani wewe swahiba wangu, with all that finance, umeka tu shago kinukiwa na moshi. Do you know how much potential you're sitting on, literally?
Actually, that's why nimekupigia. Uko na mradi yote naweza kuja nikimbize?
Ala, Bikira Maria. Si mimi nimekuwa nikikufuata na kubembeleza hizi kazi. Unanilenga tu. What has changed?
Mazee siko poa. Niko jobless. With a sick mom ambaye diabetes yake nikaa imetoka kwa mguu ikaenda kwa kichwa. Life imenitatu meeting kali deadly. Ukiwa tu na kazi yote ya masusi, mimi naweza kuja ningangane.
Wow. Well, for you mimi niko na opening ya kila kitu. You name it.
Jojo. Mimi siji kunyonya mababa susu mimi.
Hulazimishwi. You dictate your own terms. Ufanye anything you're not comfortable with.
Sawa. Naweza ndushia fare basi nije kesho.
Sex work. A significant chunk of the film relies on sex work to push the story forward. Nafisa comes to Nairobi to live with her friend who is a sex worker and gets started in the business herself. Her first day on the job, she bites a guy's Johnson when he tries to force himself on her and immediately loses that job. While they're looking for another gig, she meets Saint and is supposed to massage him, but instead they talk and he pays her handsomely. Their relationship takes off from there. It's accurate that a lot of women get into sex work as a means of surviving this capitalist hellscape. In an article published on Open Democracy, Thai women say, quote, "We don't do sex work because we are poor, we do sex work to end our poverty," end quote. I like that the film isn't overly critical of sex work and sex workers, although I think it does portray the women, with the exception of Nafisa, as just money-chasing types. They fit this profile, at least appearance-wise, of women who just want money, easy money from men. And that kind of woman is exactly the kind of woman who gets hurt by men, and everyone says, she had it coming. Oh, those are the dangers of eating men's money or chasing easy money. I wonder if the reason they work hard in the beginning to show us that Nafisa is a good girl, a saint herself, and that she's hoeing because she needs the money for her family, is to counter that social conditioning we have to not care about hookers. I wonder.
Karibia hapa afande supu. Kuja hapa wewe. Krashi. Saa ngapi hapo? Madam, si umefungua kazi mapema sana. Una compete na watu wa gazeti?
Afande walai mimi si malaya.
Krashi. Umesikia nikiita mtu malaya mimi?
Hiyo ndio tunasema inaitwa incriminating yourself unprovoked.
Another big part of the story is the police. Nafisa is arrested by the police on her second day in Nairobi. Why is she arrested though? Why is soliciting a criminal offense? Who does it benefit? Who does it protect? I recently learned that criminalization of sex work just puts the sex workers in more danger. When you criminalize the Johns, the patrons, ordinary men stop using the service, and the only men willing to risk it are the ones willing to risk jail time, willing to risk a whole lot more. In other words, dangerous men. When you criminalize the workers, on the other hand, you expose them to abuse by police officers. According to Human Rights Watch, in criminalized environments, police officers harass sex workers, extort bribes, and physically and verbally abuse them, or even rape and coerce sex from them. Criminalization makes workers more vulnerable to violence by attackers who see them as easy, already stigmatized targets who are unlikely to call the police, much less receive help from them. Criminalizing sex work undermines sex workers' ability to seek justice for any crimes committed against them for fear of arrest. It forces them to work in unsafe locations in an attempt to lay low. It also denies them the ability to organize and form unions to protect themselves and advocate for their rights like other workers. This is from Human Rights Watch. Nobody wins when sex is criminalized. The police in this instance may have been written as some kind of comic relief, and I laughed. I really LOL'd. But the last thing police are in real life is funny. In real life, police are the violent arm of the state. They are the people who gleefully follow shoot-to-kill orders from the top. They are the people who sexually assault and extort sex workers. Police are one of the primary organs holding up violent governments and stomping on resisting people. Police are the enemy. They are always the enemy. Policing ni adui, and writing them for comic relief, especially at this time in Kenya, feels like a betrayal, feels like being a sellout, feels like being an enemy of the resistance, an enemy of the people yourself. Right now is the time to portray the police as they are, not the time to frame them as merely hilarious actors maintaining law and order and eating a little corruption money on the side. Police don't even need to be on a monthly allowance from a criminal to look the other way when it comes to abuse. Police themselves are prolific abusers. They don't need financial incentives to not give a damn about victims. Let's stop with this propaganda hidden in jokes. Let's work on stoking the fires of anti-police sentiments among a population of people who already know police are the enemy. In closing, retire those sexy police lingerie things. Retire them. Let's go back to firefighters and such. Fuck the police. All cops are bastards.
I like her. I knew you would. She really does look like a saint. Will you convince her?
I have my ways.
So, fanya nini exactly?
You can call me a staffing agent. Na deal na businesses zenye zina need eye candies. Extremely good-looking women. So, massage parlors, escort services, erotic dancers, ushers, you name it, Jojo's got it.
So, pataje do yako?
The business pays me a sourcing fee, and then I get 10% from the girls for 18 months. Hiyo natumia kurudisha do yangu yenye nimetumia on them kufanya kai presentable like I did with you.
Jojo was a bad friend. Jojo was a terrible friend. One, she convinces Nafisa to get into sex work when there are other options she can avail to her. She's a pimp who makes money from other people's labor. She knew she could have helped Nafisa get a sex work adjacent job, though not sex work job, like being an usher, but she was just like, meh.
Mpe time kidogo vitu zitakuwa poa.
Hizo pesa kidogo ni uchunge ndugu zako, mimi nimechoka.
Chukua.
Ongeza hizi mama.
Hey. Asante msichana wangu. Wacha nikubariki. Huyu angekuwa anatembea na watu kama wewe, mimi hata singekuwa na tashwishi. Lakini tukitegemea hizo akili zake, naona tutaisha.
When they go to see Nafisa's mother, Jojo is too busy trying to make herself look good in front of Nafisa's mother to even care about Nafisa's needs. She knows Nafisa and her mother have some kind of beef. She knows Nafisa doesn't have money, yet she takes the money Nafisa gave her and gives it to her mother. For what? Other than to look good in front of a demonstrably wicked woman. Any halfway decent friend would have later given the money back to Nafisa with instructions about how to save or something because of the many risks in their line of work. Speaking of Nafisa's line of work.
Wow, Jojo. Okay, give me a 360. Give me a kiss now. Good. Thank you. I'll pick up.
And then, guess what? Akasema atakwenda kuona madhe.
So ndio nyinyi wawili kwa chopa. Like two corrupt politicians.
Wacha nikwambie. MP huko kwetu hiyo siku alitii. Manake hiyo kijiji tulitesa wewe. Hiyo siku I think madhe alienda na kama 200.
200k.
Na hii excluding the shopping court tumemfanyia.
Sahiba. Sasa hivi ndio itakuwa. Itabidi uende pale traffic. Uhaye wale ma-acrobats. Wakufundishe skills.
Kwa nini?
Some mtu aspendio pesa yote on you. Alafu endo umsetie commissioner. Kwanza before BG. Una meza moto. Alafu unachukua lile sword pale unajifundisha kaga reflex. Alafu jifundishe kegels. Ukimpatia tu hivi. Yolia kama mtu.
Sawa. Lakini Jojo, mbona nipa pressure hizi zote?
Mom, say uko job. In this town there is no free lunch. Uliona wapi?
This is the one I cannot forgive her for. She got Nafisa into sex work and gave her zero prep. The point of having friends in the business, the value of knowing people in the trade is you learn from them. They'll tell you how to stay safe, what to look out for, how to handle police, things to do with the money, and so on. This girl dumps Nafisa into the deep end with nary a word of caution. Even when things start to take off with her and Saint, all she says is, quote, "You're now at work. There's no free lunch." How is it that after all that time with Saint, Nafisa doesn't look like she had any money? I know. Nafisa's an adult, blah, blah, blah. But Jojo got her into that life, knowing all the dangers that come with it, and didn't prepare her, even a little bit. For that, she can fuck off.
Why does he hate you so much?
You think I'm the reason he treats women like crap?
I didn't say that.
You're accurate, actually.
I witnessed all that in our household. The beating stopped because my dad died in a car accident.
Oh, darling. That circle must end with you. Do not allow anyone to have such power over you, regardless of who they are. Can't you see, darling? You are the prize. With or without money. My dear daughter, those are not wounds you want to deal with. So pick up your bags and run as fast and as far as possible from him, because it's only a matter of time before he puts someone to the ground.
How not to help? Let's talk about how not to help when it comes to intimate partner violence. First up, Saint Mother. Nafisa goes to Saint Mother's house looking for answers, and I'd imagine help, guidance, something about how she should proceed. Saint Mother tells her to run. Okay. Run where, ma'am? Rich people are so ill-equipped to help, and it's purely because they wish it so. So many problems can be solved with money, and they know this. It just doesn't occur to them to go the extra step and hand over the cash. This woman, Saint Mother, is a victim of intimate partner violence. She knows firsthand what it's like, but all she has for Nafisa is advice to live Saint. How does it not occur to her that Nafisa might need money in order to go? Rich people are so myopic, it's almost funny. If you're out there and you're rich, this is me letting you know that many problems are solved with money. Offer poor relatives money the same way you offer it to police, politicians, pastors, and such. On that note, please offer me money. There's an interview of Jerry Migui's that I fear I will henceforth reference in all my work. I think it's the one she did with Lynn Ngugi. One of these days, I'll seriously have to go confirm. She talks about telling a childhood friend of hers, Pastor Stella, that she was ready to leave her abusive relationship. Stella then asked her, "What do you need? How can I help?" Jerry said she needed to find a house, a place she could move to. Stella hopped on that task of finding Jerry a house. Jerry started buying things kidogo and putting them in the house. Slowly, this entire time, she's still with that abusive husband. When the day came and she decided to leave, she had a place to go, things to start with, all because Stella said, "How can I help? What do you need?" How you help is by asking what that person needs and helping them get it. That's how you help. And give people money. Also, why didn't she tell Saint to stop bringing his girls to her house? Couldn't be because she was trying to help them, because Nas Ivy says nothing about being helped by her. I guess she may be in her own abusive relationship with Saint. Whatever. Ask how you can help and do it. And also give people money. Give people money. Also give Jeremy money. She's actually saving women's lives. Hey, so this is editing me just popping in to say, I think I was a little hard on Saint's mother. She she did do a lot of things right, and I was just like, how not to help. I think I got caught up in the fact that she didn't offer Nafisa any material assistance, and I was just like, no, rich people must stop. So yeah, that should also just tell you. Well, not financially, because all I could see was dude offer her material assistance to get out of this situation. And now, just sort of reading through and editing, I'm like, yo, the woman tried. She did do quite a number of things right. She was there for Nafisa as somebody just to speak to, somebody who Nafisa could open up to and ask questions. And she was really open regarding her own experience in a way that hopefully would make Nafisa and other victims feel like it's not them, they're not the problem, the abuser is the problem. So she did that right. She was there for Nafisa, and I think that's something that we all could stand to learn. Just be there to talk to anyone who's in crisis, be there to listen. Share your story if you're in a position to do so that they don't feel like it's them, like the problem is them, when we all know the problem is not them. We just live in a very abusive system, a system that continues to allow men to go scot-free when they abuse women. So yeah, I'm sorry I was so hard on her. I was really so hard on her. She did do quite a number of things right. She was there for Nafisa. And then, initially when I watched it, I was like, why does she not tell Saint to stop bringing these women that he's abusing to her house? And I don't know, maybe a good faith argument on her part is she wants them to be able to see, for example, see how similar they look. She wants them to know that they can come to her if they're ever in any kind of trouble. So yeah, I was a little hard on her. I shouldn't have put it in how not to help. Just because of money. Money's a big deal though. Dude, money's a big deal. So yeah, give people money. Ask them what they need, and like, be there for her. Be there for them. Let them, when they run, allow them to come to you, even if they'll go back, right? Like, just be patient. Let them know that they can come to you, and that there would be no judgment here. That here it will only be, acceptance and like support. That's what they'll get from you. They'll get support from you. All kinds of support. Emotional support, financial support. Financial. Yo, the economy is kicking my motherfucking ass. So anyway, yeah. There's a lot to learn from the way Saint's mother responded. There's things she says that I'm just like, lady, stop it, don't ever say that. But overall, she tries to help. And I suppose that's something for a victim, for somebody in crisis to know that they can come to you and that they won't be judged. For them to know that even if they go back, even if they ran away the first time and they go back, that they can still come to you. That's something. That's important, and it's something special that you can do for somebody. So yeah, let's be there for people. Let's be there for people as many times as it'll take for them to leave. Which is not to say that it'll be easy. Of course, some people can't handle that, all that back and forth. But that's another matter. Anyway, now I'm talking about other things. So yeah, I'm sorry, Saint's mother. I am. Okay, bye. Second up, the filmmakers. Abel, Philip, and co. Caribbean, take a seat. Let's talk. I suppose it's important to recognize effort. So I recognize your attempt to shed light on violence against women, which is a global epidemic. I enjoyed the movie. The performances were great. The production value was something else. Good work. Here's how you know you're doing a good job talking about domestic violence as a man. If it makes you hella uncomfortable and you're deathly afraid of showing it to the men in your life because you know it will hit too close and make them hella uncomfortable as well. You know you've done a good job when the criticism of men in the story implicates you. Implicates you in a way that makes you ashamed. A way that demands you change or go back to being an asshole. No two ways about it. Men are abusive because we live in a society that introduces gender hierarchies and allows men to get away with abuse. Men, boys are preferred, dominant, and women, girls, are beneath them, subservient. This plays out in many ways, not just in an abusive relationship. Consider this one, which implicates almost every man. Who handles cooking, cleaning, and childcare in your house? Even if you have hired help, who coordinates with the hired help? Who serves who when you're late in dinner? Who makes sure they've washed whose hands? What gender roles are you playing out in your relationship? Which ones do you like? What does it mean that you think a rape threat can be a joke and rape a tool of punishment? What's with the homophobia and how does it affect your heterosexual relationship? If someone said you could come back as a woman in another life, you would definitely say no. Why though? Can you interrogate that? If your retelling of what is a very gendered problem like abuse doesn't make you squirm as a man and doesn't make the male audience squirm and call you a simp and denounce you, what even are you doing? When you tell a story about an extremely gendered problem and the demographic that harbors the majority of perpetrators isn't bothered, something has gone very wrong. This film was, I'm guessing, supposed to, among other things, shine a light on the issue of gender-based violence in this country. The ending title reads, 1 in 3 women has experienced, will experience, or is currently experiencing gender-based violence, end quote. If you want to help, talk about men. If you don't mention who is doing the violence, how are we supposed to address it, much less stop it? Say it's men doing the abusing. Say men must change. Say it's men causing the suffering and not just the extremely violent men like Saint, but the nice guys who laugh about rape and use rape as a punishment or an act of revenge. Say the problem is every man who thinks there are jobs in the home that are women's work. Tell them if they think men are the head of the home and deserve respect because they are men, they are part of the problem. Remind them that what almost all the cases have in common is a man. Men are the problem. Men are the problem. Men. Say it. Fucking say it. Drill it until they all unsubscribe from your channel. Then you're doing something. When you tell a domestic violence story that leaves a man comfortable, you have failed. You have failed miserably. That ending title should have been, quote, 1 in 3 women has experienced, will experience, or is currently experiencing gender-based violence at the hands of a man or men. Usually a man or men known to her. End quote. That's all for today. Thanks for stopping by. Until next time, remember who you are. Love life, love people, and stay loyal.